It has been 6 months since I updated the progress on my datsun found under a tree, and so let me take this time and update you where I'm at. I pulled both the fenders off and did the body work on the fender. Actually, both the fenders. I put in patch panels, the repairs, and that kind of thing. Got them cleaned up, and so those are essentially done. I need to bond to them and do that kind of stuff to make it perfectly straight, but the metal work is done. This is a table where I've got a bunch of suspension components and some engine stuff. There's obviously the valve cover, but here's brake stuff. There's the discs, master cylinders. There's my calipers have been rebuilt. Some intake stuff. There's the engine cradle, and that kind of stuff is done. For my, I had jet coated my intake, or my exhaust manifold, and that's all wrapped up. I also got me some wheels, and those are my wheels for my car. So those are the aftermarket or factory wheels, whatever they are. So I got that for it. So, fenders, as I said, engine stuff, front suspension stuff. It's always great to have friends. You can't do projects without friends, especially ones with talents. Great friend of mine rebuilt the flat top carbs for me, and I know they're going to work fabulous. So the carbs are done. Both my doors had a lot of rust in them, so I cut the bottoms out and put patch panels in. That's the only place I really had rust, and those are done. The motor was in good shape, but I wanted to pull it out so I could do the engine bay. But also, I just wanted to kind of freshen it up and, clean it and paint it and that kind of stuff. I pulled the pan, and there was not a lot of junk in the bottom, so that was a great find. And here's the top of the motor, and it was actually in really pretty clean shape too. So I'll just do a few things to it, paint it up, and probably just put it right back in the car because we checked the compression and everything. It was a good running motor, so I'm in pretty good shape there. Here's my other door. And it was in surprisingly good shape except for the bottom. So I cut out the bottom again, put a patch panel in, welded one in, and there I go. For the interior of the car, I've made really great progress. I had some really bad rust in here on the back panel. So I just cut the rust out, welded a panel in, made it a lot stiffer, and that was my fix. The rest of the back area here was all in really, really good shape. I had the floors. I thought the floors were initially in really good shape. They ended up having a little more rot in them than I thought. But the fact is, I got it all fixed. I got all the rot cut out. I got patch panels pushed in. I just cut out some metal and welded those in, so those are all taken care of. Up on my wall up here, I've got some other suspension components, driveline components, that kind of stuff. So, I've got front suspension obviously out of it when I pulled the motor. And here's some of those pieces, so they're all painted and ready to go. But I've got obviously the fenders off. I went in and cleaned this all up. I had the typical rust in the battery box. So I cut that all out, put my patch panel in. Now I've just got to actually weld in the battery tray itself, and that won't be a big deal. But the rest of it, the engine bay I've cleaned up and, made look kind of presentable, and I'll paint all this. But that's where I'm at now. I had a little stuff on my frame rails, but I fixed that, and that wasn't too big of a deal. So here's the driver's side, and again, I went through and patched all the holes, strengthened everything, and I sanded it down and then put the POR. So it's all been treated in that way. So my metal work is really about done. There wasn't, oddly enough, a huge amount of rust in this car, so my metal work is all done. So what I've got to do is, I've got to pull off my rear suspension. I'll pull that out, clean it up, refresh it where I need to, paint it, put it back in. And that'll take care of the rear suspension. I want to use this car in a rally coming up in the end of June. So my goal is to have it mechanically drivable where I can drive it and use it. use it for the rally, then bring it back here, then take it apart or go and paint it. So that's kind of my plan. And there is the update for my car.